Sorry, we got cut off there on their video, but I wanted to follow up. You will notice again that I did not say marijuana in those four categories, and that is because marijuana fits into each one of those categories depending upon your response, your body's response to that drug, and also as we're probably fully aware of the different strands that come from that plant, which are a wide variety. So you can have different reactions to different strands in your personnel and your body response to that. So again, all three factors, some can make you sleepy, some can kind of boost you, some can give you different hallucinations. But for the most part, marijuana is not classified in that hallucinogen spot as most people would perceive. It's actually classified in the depressant and stimulant category versus the hallucinogen category. Now, while we're talking about marijuana, I do want to say that it's the number one used illegal psychoactive drug in the United States. So, again, make sure you're paying attention to the illegal versus legal. So, marijuana is the number one illegal psychoactive drug use in the country. And I want to point out that a lot of people don't understand that whenever you're talking about THC and CBD, which is what makes up marijuana, then you need to be talking about your cannabinoid system, which we already have in our bodies. So that system is comprised of two different receptors. So you have your CB1 receptor and you have your CB2 receptor. Your CB1 receptor are the components that affect THC, or THC effects, I should say. So THC affects the CB1 receptors, which are things like time perception, your eye pupil, your pupils of your eyes, blood pressure, brain system, network, memory, things of that nature that are all impacted by THC. And then the CB2 receptors are what the CBD part of it affects, and that is a whole long list of lots of things, which is why CBD is known to be so effective in different things like anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, a whole slew of things. And I'm going to share this photo with you guys so that we're better knowledgeable about these things and that we are making sure that we understand the differences between THC and CBD because they are vast and they're important to be knowledgeable about when discussing marijuana. And those are all factual, nothing opinionated on my part, just sharing a wealth of knowledge between the CB1 and CB2 receptors in your endocannabinoid system that we already have, which is why it binds so quickly because we already have some of those cannabinoid receptors within our body, and our brain actually already, again, has those neurotransmitters. So I'll share that with you guys and make sure that we're being knowledgeable. If you have any other questions about that, please let me know. I'm happy to share. Moving on to alcohol and the consumption of alcohol. So I shared the video of the PowerPoint of the Jackson County alcohol use. Take a look at that because it's very interesting. It's also pretty knowledgeable or helpful to say that 20% of the United States binge drinks, and that's as of 2018. That's recent. So a little less than a quarter of the United States binge drinks, and I don't have an age category for that. I just know that it's 20% reported that. 22.5% drink in excess as of 2018, so that's almost a quarter of the population in the United States drinks in excess. So those are very large portions, and then as you see with the data, over half of the people who responded to the survey in the United States are drinkers. They currently drink. If you look at the numbers, about 44% in Jackson County are current drinkers, so that's quite a bit under the nation population or the nation's response. So that's up to you to figure out if that's good or bad. When you scroll down, you can see that 9% of Jackson County are binge drinkers, which is about 10% less than the national average. So Jackson County is doing fantastic in that regard. North Carolina is about 15%, so 5% less than the national average. And then you have excess drinkers, 13.6%, which has gone down from 2015. So you're seeing about a 3% difference in 3 years, which is awesome. And the national average for that, again, is 22.5%. So Jackson County is well under that national average, and they're under the Western North Carolina average, which is about 15.7%. So all of that is great in terms of alcohol use. Please check your PowerPoint for symptoms of hangovers and what to do about hangovers. I think it's not worth the time for me to talk about hangovers, but it is worth the time for me to share tidbits about misconceptions. So a cold shower does not sober you up. Coffee does not sober you up. Please keep in mind that you are consuming or have consumed a depressant, and then putting a stimulant in your body is just going to counteract the two. So it might feel like you're sobering up, but again, that's the depressant and the stimulant coming together, which does not sober you up. It's simply just counteracting the other is really what it's doing. And then the other one, I'm trying to think of what the other misconception would be or what it was. But again, all of those are misconceptions. The only thing that is going to cure a hangover is time, food, water, and sleep. You need to do all of those things. It's going to take a considerable amount of time for you to sober back up, depending upon how much or how little you drank. So please keep in mind that your blood alcohol content level will continue to peak over time. Regardless if you drink 1 hour, your blood alcohol content will be higher an hour later because it's still leveling out the glucose levels and the sugar content that you just consumed. So again, about 60 to 90, 30 to 90 minutes afterwards, your blood alcohol content level will be higher than you might think it would be after an hour of consuming drinks. So again, keep that in mind. Moving forward to opioids. Opioids are a big hot topic within society today, especially for me. Each community at this juncture has chosen substance abuse or misuse as a priority for community health needs assessments. So if you see a lot of different things for Jackson County, that's because that's what the community has asked for us to work on. About 18% in Jackson County have used opioids in the previous year with or without a prescription. So that's about 20% of the respondents. That's a pretty high rate. That's unfortunate for Jackson County. And about 47% in Jackson County said that their life had been negatively affected by drug misuse or abuse. And that's 50% of people here responding to the survey, and that's extremely high. So naturally, we want to be very thoughtful about opioids and what they're doing in our community. If you have questions about opioids and the different effects that they have, please let me know. Our life expectancy in the United States has decreased because of opioid use, and it continues to rise, just dependent upon, I don't want to say the market, but the market. And what's being sold or what's being manufactured within today's time, essentially. So moving forward to tobacco products in Jackson County, 22.3% are indicating that they smoke, which is decreasing, which is good. Awesome. Smokeless tobacco is significantly down, and vaping is significantly up. According to an article written by, I think it's John Hopkins Medical Center. Yep, John Hopkins Medical Center. E-cigarette use has increased by 900%, and 40% of those users never smoked tobacco before or never used normal cigarettes before. So 40% is the number that they are extremely concerned about. That's a very high number, and most of those numbers are coming from younger children and high school children, which is exactly what the last thing that people want to see happening. So John Hopkins released an article that I will share with you. It is providing information saying that e-cigarettes are a risk in general because there's not enough research out there showing that the toxins are either less beneficial or more beneficial to those who are using them. So the initial response is that it's healthier, but that's because we know what's in a cigarette and we know all those toxins are horrible for your body. but we don't know what those e-cigarettes hold and all the toxins that they could be putting into your body. So that's why they're saying that it could be less risky or it could be more risky. We don't know. We just don't have those answers yet, unfortunately. The one thing that I will say with the e-cigarettes is that if you think about it, with a cigarette, you walk outside, you smoke one, you're done. You know how many you smoked. With an e-cigarette or a vape, you don't know. That one little cartridge in could have over 100 cartons or 100 packages of cigarettes, and you could have smoked all of them within 1 week, and that's not the normal amount that you smoke. So with an e-cigarette or a vape, you just are not as knowledgeable about how much you're smoking and the consumption there. So that is a very big risk that you're taking whenever you're talking about e-cigarettes and vaping. And they are just as addictive, as if not more addictive than regular cigarettes, and they're not a good segue to quitting smoking. It's actually the exact opposite. So most people who are vaping tend to go to cigarettes afterwards. So please be careful with the nicotine within the e-vapes and the e-cigarettes, and do your homework before you decide to participate in that. And I hope that you're not. If you do want to quit, please let me know, or you're interested, or you want more research, or you want more information on e-cigarettes or vaping, please let me know. We have a whole network for that. We have a whole program. We have a whole system. So I will certainly help you if that's something that you're interested in. I'm not pushing it on you. I'm just saying that there's an option for you if that interests you. I apologize for this being so long, and I hope that you stuck with me the whole time. Please take a look at your other PowerPoints and your other videos for this week.